All it takes is one bad... Okay, no, I am not continuing. My Joker impression is horrible, and I do not want to insult Mark Hamill at all. What is up, guys? Mr. Star75 here today, and today we're going to be doing something that I don't think I've ever done on my channel before. A DC Comics animated movie review. So I just finished watching Batman the Killing Joke. I really want to talk about this movie. As you can tell by the title of this, I found the movie a little disappointing. Okay, before you go dislike me, unsubscribe, start reporting me and everything, I didn't hate this movie. I actually enjoyed it. But keep in mind, Batman the Killing Joke is arguably one of the most darkest stories in the entirety of Batman comics and Batman lore. It is one of my favorites and pretty much just tells the backstory of the Joker, and all it takes is one bad day to make a man go crazy. Not just it's great as a Batman story, it's good as a comic as well. And do you know how hyped this thing was? Ever since it was announced, everyone was hyped for it. The reason is because many fans regard the Joker as the greatest Batman villain of all time, and one of the greatest villains of all time for that matter. And the story behind the Killing Joke is essentially just saying, oh, you know, how the Joker got his origin story and how it just takes one bad day to make a person go mad, and the things he did to Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon, or Jim Gordon, were just insane, and like, you can bear him, and you can tell this movie had its R rating. Like, it deserved its R rating. The chemistry and voice acting between Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill is just excellent. Even after 20 years of doing Batman the Animated Series and, you know, certain video games down the line like the Batman Arkham series, they still got it. They still have their Batman and Joker voices intact. And Mark Hamill did a fantastic job with his Joker. And essentially the main punchline with this movie is just all it takes is one bad day to make a person go mad. And with Mark Hamill's excellent, you know, performance, you can see where the Joker's coming from and everything. And it's not just Joker that's mad. It's also Batman that's mad. If you don't realize it yet, and until after you see the movie, they're both kind of insane. Now sure, they have their differences, but you'd be surprised at how similar they are. Tara Strong always continues to amaze me as a voice actress as she is. She is a great voice actress, and her performance as Batgirl did a great job. And the moments between Batman and Joker are just freaking amazing. And you can tell the Joker is legitimately kind of scary in this. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of deserves its R rating. Now granted, it's not like a hard R like Deadpool was. It is kind of like a light R, but you get the gist. Yeah, the scenes with Batman and Joker are excellent, but the time it takes to get to them isn't worth it. Okay, now let's get into the why I think this movie's a disappointment. Alright. It focused on Batgirl way too much in the first act. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Batgirl's a great character, and it was nice that she got some development. But literally the first act of this movie is literally just about Batgirl. In fact, they could literally call it Batgirl the Killing Joke if they wanted to, and it would actually make more sense than Batman the Killing Joke. Because I feel like Batgirl had just as much, if not more time than Batman. And it's called Batman the Killing Joke. Look, it may have just been, the added scenes may have just been to make the movie a little bit longer, because it's, in the original, the comic is pretty short. It's a really quick read, and if it weren't for that first act of the movie would have only been like 45 minutes or so, and that's pretty short. Like, they might as well have just called it the Killing Joke Special or something. So, I guess they did it to develop Batgirl's character a little more, but I feel like the real reason why DC Comics did this was obviously to increase the screen time. But another way we could have done that is with Batman and Joker, not Batgirl. Look, Batgirl's a great character, but most of the fans that are going to see this already kind of know her. In fact, the movie literally starts off with Batgirl saying, "This isn't the movie you'd expect." Yeah, what? They know that this isn't the movie we're expecting right now. And I like surprises, but come on, this was a little much. And the Batman and Batgirl relationship thing, that was not the best they could have done, okay? I get it, Batgirl likes to flirt here and there, but just come on, for them to literally, well, of course I have some kids watching my videos, so I'm gonna try to keep this as PG as possible. With them having like a pretty big relationship, and it's pretty big implied in the first act, Yeah, and you know what's worse? It didn't even make an impact later in the story. They could have literally cut out the first act of the movie and just let the movie play out, and the relationship thing wouldn't have even mattered. Like, it was just a one-time thing, and it made no sense. Like I always saw Batman and Batgirl as a teacher and student, not like, you know, it's a little weird. So I'd actually recommend, if you're watching this movie online and you actually don't really, you're hearing about what I'm saying right now and you don't really care about the first act and about all the Batgirl stuff, just skip it. Like, it won't make a difference later on in the story, to be honest. Like, if you already know Batgirl's character and know the basics, you should be fine. The first act was just, you know, but after the first act, it got a little bit better, okay? Now, granted, I want to talk about the animation for a second. Look, I've said this in my Boo Saga video, but I'm not the type of guy to fangirl or complain about animation, but I'll admit, this animation, I understand why they did it. They tried to keep it close to the original, and they tried to keep it as close to the original graphic novel as possible, because you don't want to take much away from that amazingness for the graphic novel. But this one may have been a little bit too close, so what I mean by this is that the animation in certain parts looked a little bit choppy. Keep in mind, this is a Blu-ray to DVD video thing, so of course it's not going to have like stellar amazingness animation, but the budget on this should have been way higher. If you look at a film, another animated film like Batman Under the Red Hood or something, which is a great DC animated movie, just amazing. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend you check it out. That one had a decent budget. This budget could have been a little higher. Like, it's a big project. It's Mark Hamill's last project. Fans have been wanting this for years and years and years. And, you know, they kind of lowered the budget just to save money. Look, I get it. Batman v Superman flopped. They have to save money. But guess what? The fans that like this movie, of course they're gonna pay for it. And the least they could have done is made this movie good. So, of course, animation wasn't that great, but now on to another element that, okay, it's going to seem a little hypocritical, but I'm just going to say it right here. It's going to be really rude. I'm sorry, Mark Hamill, but I have to do this. Mark Hamill, if you're watching this, you probably isn't. Mark Hamill, your performance as the Joker was fantastic. I loved it in this movie. But I feel like that all it takes is one bad day line could have been done a little bit better. If you notice, if you remember a couple of years ago at Comic-Con, I think there's like a video of this somewhere online, Mark Hamill did a read-through of the entire All It Takes Is One Bad Day speech, and it was excellent, and it was breathtaking. I've even seen, I think when I was still in the Legos a while ago, I saw this video from this guy named Forest Fire 101. He had a fan voice the Joker, and the fan did a great job with it, and you know, it wasn't that bad, okay, but look, Mark Hamill, he did a good job with it, but I feel like it could have been done so much better. Compared to the Comic-Con one was fantastic. The fan-made one was awesome. This one was okay, but it should have been so much better. Overall, my grade for this movie would be a B-. No, this movie wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. But it was disappointing, and it could have been done a lot better. So what do you guys think of this film? If you like this movie, I am totally okay with that. I personally just found it a little underwhelming. But feel free to discuss, what you thought of the movie in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Mr. Jar 75 out. Have a great day, everybody.